Once upon a time, in a vast and ancient forest, there stood a mighty oak tree. Its thick branches reached toward the sky, and its roots dug deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly. The oak had lived for centuries, witnessing the changing seasons and providing shelter to birds, squirrels, and other woodland creatures. One morning, the tree heard a sound it had never heard before, a sharp, metallic thunk that echoed through the woods. Curious but cautious, the oak listened as the sound grew louder and closer. It wasn't long before the tree saw the source, a man wielding a shining axe, moving from tree to tree, cutting them down. The trees whispered to one another in fear. They knew the power of the axe and what it meant for those who fell beneath its blade. But the oak, proud and ancient, believed itself untouchable. It had survived storms and fires, surely it would survive this as well. The man approached the oak and paused, gazing up at its towering height and sprawling branches. The oak felt a pang of pride. He admires my strength, the tree thought. But the man wasn't admiring the tree. He was calculating how long it would take to fell such a giant. He took his axe, placed the blade against the oak's trunk, and with a grunt, struck the first blow. The oak trembled. It had never felt pain like this before. Each strike of the axe bit deeper into its bark, cutting through the layers of wood that had taken centuries to grow. The tree cried out to the man, though it knew he couldn't hear. "Why do you cut me down?" it asked in its ancient voice. "I have stood here for generations, providing shade, shelter, and life to all who pass through." The man, oblivious to the tree's plea, kept swinging his axe. He had a job to do, and in his mind, the tree was nothing more than timber, a resource to be used. As the tree's strength began to wane, the forest fell silent. The birds, squirrels, and creatures that once lived in its branches had fled, knowing that the end was near. The oak thought of the many lives it had sheltered, the countless years it had stood tall and proud. It felt a deep sorrow, not for itself, but for the loss of the life it had nurtured. With one final swing, the man brought the oak crashing to the ground. The sound of its fall echoed through the forest, and for a moment, all was still. The man looked at the fallen giant, satisfied with his work, and began chopping it into logs. But as the man walked away, dragging the wood behind him, the oak's spirit remained. Though its body was gone, its roots still connected to the earth. Over time, new saplings began to grow from where the mighty oak had stood, nourished by its remains. The forest, though wounded, would heal and life would continue. The axe, sharp and powerful as it was, had only taken the tree's body. The spirit of the oak, its legacy of life and strength, would live on in the forest forever.
If you liked our video, please subscribe and hit like button. Thanks.